and gentlemen, it's not hidden from anyone that Canada under Justin Trudeau regime has become a safe haven for Khalistani extremists. Not only are the Khalistanis given a free hand and a free run from the platform, they are also employed by the Canadian government. Times Now exclusive news break has been confirmed that a man wanted as a terrorist by the NIA, Sandeep Singh Sidhu, was employed with the Canada Border Service Agency. This man has been accused of terrorist activities by India, which has also sought his extradition. Former Indian High Commissioner to Canada, recalled by India, Sanjay Verma, who was targeted by the Canadians in the Niger row, has now returned to India. Let's go straight across to him and get to him for a first-hand sense of how Khalistanis are running riot in Canada. Thank you very much, Sanjay Verma ji, for joining me on the News Hour tonight. First, we're very happy to see you back in India, safe. That was, I think, the first objective of the entire country, to see you back safe and sound. Were there any anxious moments that you faced when you were declared as the person of interest until the time you exited from Canada?
No anxious moments, because I knew that we have not done anything wrong. We have only served our national interests. So no, not anxious moments, but yes, a bit of sadness in our heart that I went there to promote our bilateral relations. And then in the midst of it, I was withdrawn from my ministry and later on declared as the PNG, that is persona non grata, by the Canadian government.
At any sense, did you feel any danger to yourself and your family, especially after the things soured in the last week or so before your exit?
I would say our close protection was increased, which was being provided by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and the safety was taken into account according to their own assessment. But yes, the Khalistani terrorists and extremists have always been a threat to us, and their threatening postures continued.
In the past, were there any direct attacks on you by the Khalistanis?
Direct attack, there were threatening postures. They would come physically very close to me, but not as far as we could be bodily harmed. So I was never bodily harmed. And the RCMP and the local police together saw to it that harm doesn't come to me.
But they came close enough? Were they armed Khalistanis? How could they come even in the line of sight close to where you were? Anything that you can share with us?
In most of the places wherever I would go for my public event, which will be largely with the Indian nationals and Canadians of Indian origin. And that would be basically to promote India-Canada relations and to see what new can be done in order to move forward. So any such venue outside, there will always be the Khalistani elements, pro-Khalistan elements around that venue, and they would shout slogans which will be derogatory to India. They will gesture actions which would be derogatory and disrespectful to India and me. And in many cases, they will come close enough physically to me, but then the local police and RCMP will see to it that they don't harm me bodily.
Were there weapons? Because there are accounts that on a couple of occasions these Khalistani or pro-Khalistani elements were even armed. Any specific weapons that they had that you could see?
So largely these were spears, as we call in India, bhala, and swords in the name of Kirpan, and Kirpan is very small, whereas these were swords which were long enough to harm anyone, even to kill.
Did that at any time play on your mind? Did you take up this issue with the Canadian authorities, the Canadian government? You know, what were the conversations like with the Canadian government when you took up these issues of the free run that the Khalistanis were getting?
Whenever such incidents happened, or we anticipated such incidents, in both cases the Canadian authorities were informed, most of the time through the foreign ministry there, which is known as the Global Affairs Canada, and they always assured that appropriate action will be taken. They passed such information on to the law and order authorities of that city or that province, or even federally. In some cases, they did preliminary investigation, but we didn't see any final conclusion which could dissuade further such incidents.
So, if I read the subtext, were all these investigations an eyewash?
These were investigations that we were told, but I couldn't see any outcome which will sort of make them realize that they should not be doing again. So we did not see any punishment being meted out. We did not see any case being finalized, and we did not see that they refrained from doing it in the future events.
So, Mr. Sanjay Verma, I want to ask you, have these pro-Khalistani elements infiltrated various parts of the Canadian government? Because one email that we have exclusively got is about an individual called Sandeep Singh Sandhu, who's declared a terrorist in India, but is employed by their border force there. And this is on record in an email that has been replied to us. So very much with the Canadian government or their agencies. So do you think this is a widespread reality of pro-Khalistani elements being part of the Canadian institutional system?
Absolutely. You're absolutely bang right on that. And what we have seen is that most of the Canadian institutions will have people from the Indo-Canadian community who would be sympathizers, at least, if not themselves as the promoters of anti-India sentiments as well as pro-Khalistani elements. So these people were spread all over the places. And what you just mentioned about this particular person, he was employed by CBSA, which is the Border Security Agency for Canada. And I have even heard worse things, that some of the Indian students who landed up in Canada, they were not allowed to enter the country even after having the appropriate visa to enter the country. And they were said that, look, if you really want to come to Canada, enter the border, then you have to file an asylum application. In that case, we will allow you in and process your asylum application. Now, this thing cannot happen unless there are anti-India elements, pro-Khalistan elements within their own hierarchy who are supporting such activities.
So, is there any direct link to Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau's office? Because this cannot be happening without the knowledge of the topmost office of the country.
I don't have any evidence to show, but what I see as the narrative, that these pro-Khalistan elements have got a lot of political muscle, financial muscle, and they are involved in various kinds of crimes in Canada, including gun running, including drug trafficking, including human trafficking, extortions, killings. So they are on the darker side of the society, and some of them have got very close linkages with the political parties in Canada, including the Liberal Party, for which Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is the leader.
Just a couple of days ago, when Justin Trudeau made a statement saying that what he said in terms of this particular case was based on intelligence, not evidence. Did that bring a smile to your face that this is exactly what you were saying all along?
We had been saying it all along, and I don't know why his advisors or he didn't realize it. But nevertheless, now that it is in the open, he should be able to sit with his advisors, retrospect, introspect, and see where did they go wrong. This is a very big relationship, and Canada is a beautiful country. Canada and India have been friends. They will remain friends in the future. This small period of time should be looked into with a tooth comb and see how we can now try to move ahead.
Let me go back to the point that you made, that when some students have landed, they have been pressurized to find asylum applications. Do you have any idea of what numbers are we talking about? And many students who would reach there would be under tremendous pressure and would be signing such applications only because they've spent everything and gotten to Canada, and there's no way they can go back.
I will not have an exact number, but what I can say is that even one such incident itself proves a point. Exact number is very difficult. Some people will disclose to us, some others may not disclose to us. And this is not mandatory for an international to disclose to the Indian representation there. But such incidents had happened, and this is something which we see as intimidation tactics by anti-India elements in Canada.
Did you have evidence on this, and did you present it to the government of Canada?
Yes, we had told them that we have received emails from some Indian nationals who were asked to file the asylum applications at the border point, without which they will not be allowed to enter into Canada.
And any action was taken on those cases?
Till the time I was there, I hadn't seen any action. I don't even know what was conveyed to whom, because our interlocutor was the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is GAC, Global Affairs Canada. We didn't get any revert from them.
No revert. Let me ask you, the entire issue of Niger that came up, was it India that told the Canadians about the fact that Lawrence Bishnoi and some other elements were the Khalistani, pro-Khalistani people running gangs from there? Was this information given by them to us or us to them?
So the first information which we provided to them were regarding those who were in Canada. And as now it is a public knowledge that there were such 26 extradition requests pending for a long time. Some of them have been acted upon, most of them have not been acted upon. But in addition to this, there were some arrest requests as well. In that context, Goldie Brar was one of them. We informed them about Goldie Brar. We gave them the dossier on Goldie Brar, plus many others. There is a civic organization known as BOLO, which basically publishes the most wanted list loosely on behalf of the Canadian authorities. They cannot do it themselves. So in one of their most wanted lists, Goldie Brar was very much there, and there was a reward on his head, etc. But later on, we didn't find his name appearing in the most wanted list in Canada. So our feeling is that there is something amiss. Either our seriousness is not very well understood, or there is a pandering to those criminal elements.
And on Lawrence Bishnoi?
Lawrence Bishnoi's name came much later, but once again, since as we know that he is in India, so the information went from India to them.
So when they blame India of using Lawrence Bishnoi, to neutralize somebody like Niger, where was this information coming from?
Well, I will have no idea, but Canada has got a lot of gangs itself, and many of these gangs are fighting for the territories and turfs amongst themselves. Goldie Brar is just one of the examples. I may not be able to tell you all the names, but there are gangs. They are into the similar illegal criminal activities, and therefore there are tough wars going on amongst them. This Lawrence Bishnoi connection, I'm not sure whether from where did they get. And they should understand that India is the largest democracy. It doesn't use such tools and tactics to intimidate other countries or to interfere in the domestic affairs of those countries.
So let me ask you, we are cooperating with the United States of America on Gurpatwant Singh Pannoon, but on the issue of Niger, why are we not able to negotiate with Canada? Because from the point of view of the people in this country, how do you describe the differences in the manner in which India is working together with the United States but unable to work with Canada? What are the specific reasons?
See, first of all, I would say that since I was not overseeing the relationship between India and the US, so I'll not be able to comment on that. But as far as Canada is concerned, in order to help them, to assist them, we are a rule of law country, they are a rule of law country. So therefore, our instinct will be to help them out in solving a crime. But in order to do that, we need to see evidence. Unless there are hard evidences shared with us, the evidence has to be relevant, evidence has to be legally acceptable. How do we help them? We cannot help them just by saying that, look, the so-called allegedly Government of India agents are involved in the killing of Niger. This is neither here nor there. So we needed to understand what are the evidences that you have, hard evidences which could be acceptable in the court of law, in your court of law as well as in my court of law. Only then we will be able to take legal actions to them. But unfortunately, not a shred of evidence was shared with us.
In the end, I just want to ask you, how hand in glove is Jagmeet Singh with these pro-Khalistani elements? And is Trudeau doing all this, posturing to please Jagmeet Singh, whose support is important for his survival as the Prime Minister of Canada?
See, Mr. Jagmeet Singh is a known supporter of pro-Khalistan elements. He harbors anti-India feelings and sentiments, and these are facts which are well known to us. He had been keeping the minority government alive. Thereafter, after a lot of theatrical and drama, he so-called tore off the agreement to support the government, minority government. But we have not seen him still moving away from the kind of unsaid agreement that he had to keep the government propped up. Initially, before this so-called tearing off agreement, he and Prime Minister Trudeau were very much together in everything they did.
So, if Prime Minister Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh were together and he's an anti-India personality, doesn't leave too much to the imagination, but Mr. Sanjay Verma, I can't tell you how happy we as Indians are to have you back, safe, without a scratch, because clearly in the last few days when things went completely south, we were worried as a nation about your safety. So while India-Canada relations may have hit a nadir, to have our own people back here, the entire team, we wish you all the very best. And it is a country, it is a nation that was praying for your safe return. Thank you very much for joining me tonight on the News Hour. And let's see what happens in days to come.
Thank you, Navika, and my thanks to you and your team for praying for our safety.